Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TED Talks Ball. We got a Friday afternoon. No, not TED Talks Ball. Ball with Dash and Ted.
There you go. There you go.
We usually go live at 3 p.m. on Fridays. However, we thought Niner Nate was going to be with us, and he had somewhere to be at 3:45. So we bumped up the start time to 2:30. And poor Niner Nate and his boss got stuck in traffic trying to get home from Levi's to the, I think, pretty deep East Bay where he lives. It's Friday, so traffic starts a lot earlier on
Deep in the
Fridays
bay.
than regular days. It's a getaway Friday. People are going places for the weekend. It's summertime. So hopefully Nate gets home in time and he'll pop on for a little bit. But for now, it's just me and Bash. But yeah, what it normally is. So that's all good. And I really, was hoping to get 908 on because he's the one who got me my ticket for today.
Well, God willing, he gets home in time to hop on. A little late, that's fine.
Exactly. So, and he was there with his boss. You guys probably see the picture on Twitter. It was Jesse Naylor. Rohan wasn't in the picture yet. He wasn't there yet. Rohan, me, Raj, Niner Nate, his boss, Steph, Brad Graham, and then also not pictured, but there was Jordan Elliott. Funny story about that. So we're there. We get today, like every day at training camp is different. There's different people working, or even if it's the same people, sometimes they're in different moods. So some days you're like fighting to get those upper seats in the last row, and it's really hard, and they make it hard on you, and they do everything they can to like screw you up and keep you from getting them. Today, Steve, there was a cool guy there named Steve who was really helpful, and he let us just kind of wait till right the second when they opened them up. We didn't have to race anybody or run up the bleachers instead of running up the stairs like I've had to do several times. So we got a whole row, and like Brad Graham was going to sit in a different area, but he missed his. So I'm like, hey, come with us. I think we got room. And it was a good day. But anyway, so we get all these people lined up. I'm like, this is the most we've got. We got to get a picture. So I turned to this guy a couple of rows in front of us wearing a Deebo Samuel jersey. And I go, hey, can you get all this row down to the guy in the white shirt? Because Jordan Elliott had a white shirt on. Well, it turned out that Steph Sanchez had a white shirt on too. And, she's got kind of a short haircut. And so I think that's what he thought I meant when I said the guy in the white shirt. And so that's why the picture barely has Brad Graham in it and doesn't show Jordan Elliott. Kind of a funny story. We all got a chuckle out of that. But
you had to be there.
Exactly. So anyway, it was a good day at camp. I'll get into some of it. But first, real quick, just want to, we got Bash here. Let me make sure that I got your banner going. I don't have anything set up. But Bash, tell everybody, what you've got going on, anything you got coming up. Obviously you're at 49er Minded on Twitter, and I believe at 49er Minded on YouTube as well. It's all in the description of the show. Clue people in about you.
This week this week I had a lot going on. I just next week I don't have anybody booked yet, but we'll definitely make it happen and get some people on there. Obviously, I do the gig with you usually on Fridays. Once in blue moon, it's on Thursday, but it's a lot of fun with you. And I think I might be doing the Bring the Heat podcast again on Tuesday because Mariah had to take some time off, and I'm not sure if we're going to be regrouping again next Tuesday, but we might. If we do, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll set up some other stuff for the other days. So it's a little kind of shaky what days my other show is going to be on, but just follow me on Twitter. At 49er Minded on Twitter, really easy to follow, or my Instagram, and you can always find out when my new shows are popping up. And I have a lot of returning guests, and it's always a lot of fun. And just the other day, we hit 1,000 subscribers. We had a really fun 1,000 subscribers show with Tyler Miller, who's a big known caller on 95.7 The Game, and he's putting out his own podcast. And it's always a lot of fun. I had Jess on yesterday from East Coast Red and Gold podcast. She's in the chat. She's awesome. Subscribe to her channel. She's amazing, and her podcast is amazing with all the awesome guests they have. They're great guests. So I see Panama Queen in the chat too. What's up, Panama?
There we go. Yeah, I'm a little behind on the chat. I'll hop in here. Let me just go through all of them. So we got Jimmy Perez saying, "What's up, Faithful? How's everybody doing? What's up, Ted? What's up, Jimmy? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Got Bebop Jones coming to us from Bethlehem, PA. Bang Bang Nina Gang. Thanks a lot, Bebop. We got Laura Cat here. She's going to be at training camp on Monday in the VIP section, I believe. So if you guys haven't met her, everybody check out Laura Cat on Monday. I'm still trying to get tickets to tomorrow and Monday, but even if I do, it'll probably be GA, which is a different entrance and different seats. So I don't think we could meet up, even if I do get tickets, sadly, unless somehow we met in the parking lot before or after. That might be the only way.
Maybe if you talk to her bodyguard or security crew.
There you go. There you go. Gotta get clearance. Don't want to have a Britney Spears incident where I run up on her and get smacked.
Hey, Victor Wembanyama or whatever you say.
Yeah. Wemby. That's right. She's liking the scruff. Yeah, I've been growing it out for training camp. If I can't get more tickets, it's coming off. I usually
my scruff's always. I got like a 3-day thing going on, but it's always invisible for whatever reason. Nobody can only see unless they're in person. So I guess that's a good thing.
My problem is like as it grows out, it starts to go gray, and I'm just like I'm a little too vain to be dealing with all that gray hair. So
yeah, we gotta shout out 49er Tone. He's on my channel. We're running this on both channels, by the way. Just let people know if you're not subscribed to Ted, definitely subscribe to Ted Talks Ball. Then if you're not subscribed to me, you can always subscribe to me, and that's why there's 2 chats going on. But it's always fun. We always do this.
I'll get down to Tone real quick. On show from the Shaw Show here. Yeah, I mean, also, if you're watching us, if you're on a PC, you can just open up another tab and you can watch both shows at once, get us both the views. Or even if you're on a phone, can't split your phone, but if you have a phone and a tablet, you can go 2 devices. So, if you guys can do that, that helps us out. But yeah, if you're on my channel, make sure you like and subscribe to 49er Minded. Same thing if you're on 49er Minded, head over to TED Talks Ball. Give me a like and subscribe too. I appreciate it very much. We both do. Everybody saying what's good. Jess, you mentioned Panama Queen in the house. Bash and Ted. Steve-O's Customs. He does custom sneakers. If anybody needs anything like that, make sure you hit up Steve-O. Let's see here. That's so funny.
I just you'll see. You'll know why.
Niner gang in the building. 49er Tone. Let's go. East Coast Niner. What's up? Bash and Ted. Bebop Yo. Oh, wow. 49er Cast. Nobody watches your trash channel. Well, you are. So thanks for joining. Yeah, we take all comers here. So I appreciate it. And keep up the Lance hate. I can just tell you he was won the day today. So even though he had like 3rd string weapons and 3rd string O-line, Lance was pretty good.
And I was telling you before the show, like I saw some things that Raj was tweeting about Purdy and Lance and a couple other players, but for the most part, I stayed away. I had things to do, and I didn't read the stat lines, and so you're going to give me a lot of that info because you were there and you probably been following it more in depth today.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the news I'm going to get is kind of going to be organic, so it should be more fun.
Nice. We get to see live reactions from Bash. Get to see him get all bent out of shape.
Man, I'm laughing at the stuff in the chat.
Oh, I know. Here we go. We got Yo Adrian in the house. I met a guy named Adrian today. I'm like, oh no, you're not Yo Adrian, are you? He's like, no. I'm like, thank goodness, because might have had to go to blows if it was. But welcome to the show, Adrian. Even if you think it's trash, you guys have bad opinions. So
hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Remember that.
No doubt. I'd be concerned if 49ers Cast or Adrian liked what we were doing here. That would be a red flag and a half. So here we go. Here's another one.
You got the whole mob.
We got them all today. 2 losers on the pods.
Top in the chat. Woo! Damn.
Bring it.
Showing us some love in the club. Bring it.
It's like all the nameless, faceless, clueless Lance haters. They're all here today. Our cat saying howdy. Panama Queen saying, hey, you guys, you think Darnold is the best out of all the QBs in camp? Darnold has been good. Darnold, he won on Sunday. He won yesterday. But Darnold also had the worst day of the week on Tuesday when Purdy won. And see, Lance is always either first or second. Lance is pushing the ball downfield. Lance has less to work with. Purdy today had some big issues. He underthrew 2 balls in a row. One of them, Kittle made a great contorting catch backwards, falling down backwards to catch as the defender kind of flew by him. it was kind of like some of the Jimmy G throws where you say like, oh, it's so bad that it turned out well. It turned out good. Examples of those would be like Debo in Detroit, where I underthrew Debo on the sideline. Debo came back and the defender kept going and he ran around and got a TD. Or like Sanders in New Orleans, where he underthrew it and the defender, like he pushed the defender off and ended up getting a TD. This time there was no TD because Kittle fell down to get it. But there's a couple of bad there, and there was one where like it was either a sack or a pick six that he threw. So Purdy did have a really nice move the ball session. He looked outstanding, maybe the best session he's had of all of the practices, where he hit Ayuk a couple times and Debo for a TD, and then Debo went down injured, and we were all just like, I hope Debo's okay. And Debo did end up, getting up and walking off, and then he actually ended up coming back and playing in a few series later. So Debo looks like he's all right, folks. No worries there. But yeah, so Purdy was really up and down today. He had one of his best sessions of the camp, but some bad stuff before that. Lance had a real nice throw deep over the middle to Jennings for about 20, 25 yards. He had another deep one, 15 to 20 yards to Ronnie Bell, two of the nicest throws of the day. Allen had a real nice throw over the middle, Brandon Allen. Darnold, here's the deal with Darnold today. He was like really consistent. He had a really high completion percentage, but there was just nothing wow. It was like a lot of, dink and dunk. We talked about, Ryan Hensley talked about dink and dunk for Purdy. I don't call Purdy that myself. But, Darnold was definitely dink and dunk today and has been a little bit. He hasn't had a ton of wow passes in camp. So, it's hard to judge everybody, especially when, like, Lance still hasn't played with CMC yet. Lance, some plays he'll have one good weapon. Most plays he has no good weapons and no good linemen protecting him. And so he's doing a hell of a job given that. And Purdy's improving, other than those bad sections today. Like if he hadn't had that move to ball section, this would have been his worst practice of camp, even the first one back where everybody admittedly rusty. So I've been saying, he's not back to himself. I'm still going to stick with that. Kyle confirmed it yesterday. People were asking me, oh, Ted, who's your source that, Purdy isn't back to himself? Ted, who's your source? I'm like, dude, I've been there 5 practices. Yesterday was 6. Today was 7. So I'm a source, and I was on with Ryan Hensley and Rob Guerrero yesterday, and Rob was like, how come you're the only one saying that, Ted? I'm like, basically, I think people want to be nice to Purdy, and they didn't want the Purdy hive to come stinging on them, come for their head with pitchforks and torches. And just a few hours later, Kyle was like, basically, yeah, he's not back, but we're not worried. Well, yeah, he's not back. And nobody expected him to be back to himself by yet, It was like when originally the time frame was like mid to late August being cleared to play. We're like, oh, we'll be ready for week 1. Now it's like, late July he's cleared to play. So, he almost certainly should be ready to play by week 1. But, but I'm not going to say it until I see it. So long-winded thing there. And sorry to go on so long.
Oh, that's cool.
Probably
Man.
catch up more on the chat too.
But, yeah, I mean, you were there. I haven't been at any of the practices I was trying to go, but it was so hard to get tickets. And it's great to hear. I mean, and just by default, I did have, and you could call me a hater and say I'm a Lance supporter, I'm a Lance, whatever you want to call me. But the bottom line is, Purdy had a lot of success, obviously. I'm not going to deny what Purdy did. But the point is, he had a very serious injury in that playoff game. A very serious surgery. Now he had a miraculous comeback, you could kind of say, when they announced that he'd be healthy much sooner than people expected. So I get that part. But at the same time, I mean, for people to say that if he were to step in and play in a game right now that counted, that, oh, he's a gamer, he's a baller, he's going to be the same exact guy, it's like, that's a question mark. So I don't know how if he's going to start week 1. I don't know how he's going to look. I don't know which Purdy we're going to get. There's definitely cause for concern in that. And a few days ago, people were saying that multiple people who were at camp were saying, in regards to who has a quick release, they were saying that Lance and Darnold and Lance, however you want to say it, had quicker releases than Purdy's had all camp. So, so he said we're terrible, huh? I don't know. I don't have anything against this 49er cat guy, and now he's cast guy. Now he's taking shots at me. I thought we were kind of cool. I guess not. I don't know.
Well, and then Flav's here. Hey, Flav, you get to have a comment read without paying for it. Oh, it's your lucky day. You can save you
He saves those for Grant to give it to pay his rent money.
well, I got to monetize first before I can charge anybody anyway.
Uh,
But that's coming soon. That is coming soon. As soon as I hit 500 subs, I've got the watch hours.
Slick Charles is here is a new subscriber.
There you go.
New subscriber to my channel. He subscribed the day we had the 1,000 subscribers show. It was a lot of fun. Slick Charles. He's got the count from Sesame Street as his avatar. See Eric Wallace up in here.
Bryant Culp in the house too. Bryant's got his own channel. Make sure you check that out, folks. Brock says, Brock is your daddy. Accept it. Okay. Bryant Culp saying howdy from your channel. Got 49er Tone, 62 in Frisco.
Really a good friend of mine. He's been on my channel before. He's an amazing guest, a great friend of mine, and I'm going to have him on pretty soon. Pretty much maybe in the preseason or early in the season.
Says it's windy there too. Yeah. Bebop says my heart sunk when you tweeted that earlier. Ted dodged a bullet there. That's why I was quick to tweet that he was walking off after he went down, and then also once he was back and playing, so that it seems like obviously.
For who got hurt? For which play? Was it Debo?
Debo. It was at the end of Purdy's touchdown drive on the move the ball. He hit Ayuk a couple or three times on the drive. Had some nice completions, some nice runs. And then at the end, he hit Debo in the right corner of the end zone, and Debo didn't get up, and we were all just like, and they kind of went over and looked at him, and then he got up and walked it off, and he was kind of limping, and then like I said, a few series later, he was back in. So
let me ask you this: since you've been at camp, and since a lot of people are saying that Debo looks like he's in fantastic shape, and I get all that, and I get how Debo said he was horrible. What up, Eric Wallace? Seahawks fan, but good supporter of the channel.
So here's Slick Charles. So you're talking about?
He's cool. So what's up, Niner Nation?
Oh, nice,
Bill Walsh
nice.
with us.
Bill Walsh with
Bill Walsh. But about Debo, a lot of people saying he's in much better shape, but I haven't. Correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't been at camp, but I'm just going off of what I see that pops up on the timeline. I haven't necessarily seen like things where people say like, "Oh wow, Debo made this amazing run after the catch play." One time I know Lance threw some short one at Debo and he ran up the field. I'm not sure how far he got, but I'm not hearing like amazing things about Debo at camp so far. And I know Debo gets explosive, huge yak type plays in games, but have there been times in camp where you thought Debo looked more explosive or looks pretty good or passes?
He does. It's just hard to tell if it's a broken tackle or, in camp, they just don't really give it their full force. They're not, especially with the stars, not tackling. But there was one today where he kind of was running away from everybody and he just pulled up because there was no point in running it into the end zone. So he just, stopped short. But I think it would have, some of them might have been tackles before. It's hard to tell. But that's the thing with camp is tackles and sacks are really subjective. But yeah, Debo's looked pretty good. Just Ayuk has just looked incredible. And like I said, most of what Debo brings, you don't notice until people are really trying to tackle and they just can't do it. That's when Debo really shines. So, but yeah, no, both have looked really good. In fact, the other day, Purdy threw a nice ball to Ayuk on the left side, and then it was a TD, and then a nice one to Debo, same play, both against AJ Parker. I mistakenly said that it was Terrence Mitchell. But anyway, they're both kind of no-name people. AJ Parker was the one who got burned a couple times back to back. So we got Slick Charles saying Shanahan needs a... All right, real quick. I was on this. Purdy said a pretty accomplished success last season, but does not prove to be a franchise QB, nor does it solidify him as the best QB on the team. He still has a lot to prove. I think he kind of proved it last season enough to start week one if he hadn't been injured. Or if right now he looked like 2022, but he doesn't. He hasn't. I'm not saying he won't. I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping it happens soon. But until he looks like last season, I don't think we should be just saying he's the starting QB. I think it should be a competition. And so far it hasn't been. They have, done everything they can to prop Purdy up, and they're really not doing anything to make it a fair fight with Lance or Darnold, who have been basically better. Purdy, as of yesterday, kind of was catching up. But, overall, Lance and Darnold have been better than Purdy, even without having access to all the great weapons. And people say, oh, well, Purdy's going up in the number one D. But but he's not. He's going up against Ambry Thomas, as I mentioned, this AJ Parker guy at corner.
Yeah.
These are not. These guys are closer to off the team than first team. So.
I heard Ayuk was just abusing Ambry Thomas like left and right. Like
yeah, Ambry finally had a PBU today. I think it was against Kittle. So Ambry struck back finally today, but I mean it's like the first time he's had a good play all camp.
And not that I was expecting big things out of Ambry Thomas, but just there was a glimmer of hope that maybe Steve Wilkes could get him right, since he's a big secondary guy, and at points in times in Ambry Thomas's rookie year he was actually looking pretty good, but it seems like ever since he took that step backwards he's never been the same for whatever reason.
No doubt. Slick Charles says Shanahan is a Custer. He needs to start Trey. I don't know if Custer is the word he's looking. Maybe
I don't know what he means by Custer. Custard. General Custard. General Custer. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll find a coach. I don't know. We'll see. Steve-O says, I'm just ready for week 1. You think the quarterbacks by committee is coming? Not so far. So far, they're just handing it to Purdy. So, anybody who wants a QB competition, it hasn't happened yet.
No, I don't think there's going to be any competition. I mean, I think it literally is going to come down to the only way Lance plays is if whatever reason, God forbid anybody gets hurt, but an injury or just somebody just stinks it up. I mean, it looks like the coaches have made their minds. So it is what it is, So I mean, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, and this time around there's Darnold in the mix too. I mean, in reality, we do have a pretty deep quarterback room. I know from Grant Cohen tweeted out that there's no franchise quarterbacks on this team. I think it's way too early to say that anyways. I would never say that Purdy right now, just because of what we saw in 8 games as a franchise quarterback. It's way too early to say Lance is, or even, and we've seen a lot of Darnold to know that he's not a franchise quarterback. Some people think that Kyle Shanahan and all these great weapons and this amazing defense can turn Darnold into something that he wasn't before, but I just don't think it works out that way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jess asks, have you watched anything besides QBs? Yeah, I watched a lot. I think she had a question earlier about wide receivers and tight ends. So sorry, the comments were coming fast and furious, and I was trying to keep up. Braden Willis has done really well as a tight end. Chris Conley has done really well as a wide receiver. Danny Gray is doing pretty well. Ronnie Bell's doing pretty well. Ayuk is just crazy. I mean, I think he's got like 28 catches in 7 practices or 8 practices, because there was one that was not open to the public. So he's averaging close to 3 catches a game, or a practice, I should say. But Debo's looking really good. Jennings looks all right. Not bad, but just he's not really sticking. Conley has been the real show out. Tay Martin's done pretty well too. I'd say sort of like Conley, and then like Tay Martin and Ronnie Bell kind of tied, and or maybe even Danny Gray's in there too. All 3 of those guys, the wide receivers look pretty good. I'll just be honest. Latu has run some nice routes. He's just dropped a few. So,
is there a hands issue with this 49er team and receivers aside from Ayuk? I mean, a lot of times when I hear certain things about Niner receivers in practice, Debo included, I just hear like, "Oh, this guy dropped this pass, that guy dropped that pass," and I'm thinking, last year I heard it was a major issue, and then this time around I keep kind of hearing it, and it's like, are these guys not working on their hands? I mean, their position is receiver, receive the ball. It's like, you think that's the biggest thing you'd work on to make sure that you have down, but maybe I'm just worrying and I'm being pessimistic. I'm just going off of what I hear. I'm not there to see things firsthand. Maybe if I was, I'd feel a lot better, but maybe you can reassure me because you've been there.
They've been pretty good. Debo had a drop today, but I think it was more of a PBU than a pass breakup. Ayuk actually had a big drop that killed Purdy's second move of the ball period. So, but normally Ayuk is. I think he had one other drop that I can remember from camp, and the rest he's been magnets on his hands. The wide receivers have been pretty good. There haven't been a ton of drops. Latu is the one who's had the drops, and Charlie Warner. So the tight ends have had more drops, but receivers have done pretty well. Running backs have done pretty well. A lot of TDP and Mason today since Elijah Mitchell was out, but a lot of CMC today. He had some big runs. He had some nice catches. He's looking good.
I did. I'll go ahead.
No. I was just going to get to some of the comments. Is Ayuk going to have an expanded role, or is this just another great camp under his belt? I mean, I think for Ayuk to have an expanded role, he needs a deep threat QB. I think Ayuk's deep threat route running capability has been vastly ignored by Jimmy G and Brock Purdy. And so I think you need to see either Lance, ideally, or Darnold in there to really unlock Ayuk's deep threat ability for him to take. The other thing you need is, less of a run first offense. So there's actually more pass attempts by the offense. We're usually in the top 5 of runs per league or per year, whereas like a team like the Chiefs is always at the top of pass attempts. So any weapon on the Chiefs is going to have a lot more opportunities to catch the ball just by volume of passes. And obviously they have a better QB in Patrick Mahomes, the best QB. And we I say meh or worse QB play. So Donald Johnson in the house saying, hey, United fan. We got Kenny saying defense and run game will get us to 15-2. Have you made a prediction for this season, Bash?
I did. I very much did. So, I mean, early on, I was saying maybe 13-4, but I'm a bit uncertain now because of the whole thing with the rest days. I mean, we're not going to have days to rest like all these other teams. I think we're last in the league when it comes to that. So
-20, worse than the league.
Trap games can happen. So if we do lose certain games, it might mess us up in terms of home field advantage and all that, but hopefully not. But again, the NFC isn't going to be the same NFC in terms of, because it's just a bit weaker in my opinion this upcoming season, and we have an easier chance at doing things possibly. But I'm going to say, I'll say 11-6. I'll say 11-6 on this one.
There you go. I was at 13-4, and I said 12-5 or maybe 11-6. So were you and I?
I hope I'm wrong.
I think 15-2 by Kenny is a little optimistic, but hey, I hope you're right, Kenny. I hope I'm wrong. Jess says looking forward to seeing them go against the Raiderettes next week. Absolutely, there should be a lot of picks for Fred against Jimmy. I'd say at least 2.
I am worried about Max Crosby a bit though in those scrimmages though.
He's good. He's good.
If he's opposite of Trent Williams, on the opposite side of Trent Williams,
because McKivitz has been really good. He's been really good in camp. Obviously, we don't have any defensive ends like Max Crosby though with Bosa out. We got Drake Jackson. We picked up Taco Charlton. He's been doing pretty well. Taco Tuesday. Today was a Taco Friday. He played really well again today. It looks like it might be a really good signing. Another Chris Kassar reclamation project. I tweeted that out that he could be a lot like Arden Key, Charles Domenahu, Samson Ebicom. And then some Seahawks fan was trying to tell me, oh, Samson Ebicom, isn't making any more for the Colts than he was for the Niners because of, inflation and the cap going up. And I'm like, dude, he was 2 years, 12 mil for us, 5 guaranteed. Now he's 3 years, 24 with 10 guaranteed. Yeah. And he got a freaking $9 million signing bonus. And he's getting a couple mil base this year. He's got making almost as much in 2023 as he made in 2021 and 22 combined. I'm like, come on, dude, get out of here, go away. I was about to block him, but he went away. So there you go.
There's somebody on my chat, East Coast Niner. You can put him up. Not the East Coast Red and Gold podcast, but East Coast Niner. He's got a green icon. He said, how did the D line look? He wants to know about the D line because you were just talking, and we brought it. You just mentioned Taco Charlton, and we want to know about Hargrave and Kalia Davis and all these guys. And we know Bosa. We know how good Bosa is. And I'm not in any rush for Bosa to come back. To be honest with you,
Kalia Davis was not suited up, so he didn't perform. Kinlaw's been really good. Alex Barrett has been really good. He got some run with the ones today on defensive end. And it's just really surprising because he's been a perennial practice squad guy. So Kinlaw's been good. Armstead's been good. Yeah, Hargrave's been good. But I think Kinlaw's been the best so far. I didn't see a lot of him today, but every other day is like if Ayuk's been the star of camp, period. And obviously then the star for the offense. Kinlaw's sort of been the star for the defense. Hafanga's been really good, although he did on one of those underthrown passes. The second one, first one went to Kittle. He did the contorting catch to make the catch. The second one was a PBU, but really it was a dropped interception by Huff. But Huff's been great. Fred Warner's been great. The only thing with Fred and Dre is, they've been tackling running backs a lot, and especially they were tackling Elijah Mitchell a lot, and now he's got this abductor strain, and I'm just like, gee, maybe that's from tackling him so much. And then a fight broke out because of it. There was a big brawl the other day, and so I'm a little unhappy with Fred and Dre for doing that. As much as I know that Elijah Mitchell is injury prone, why are we contributing to that? And Fred got into fights last offseason with Ayuk because Ayuk stood up to him and basically he was bullying offensive players. They were trash talking, and Ayuk stood up to him. And I think this year it was Tay Martin maybe or Jennings or both that stood up to. I think it was Quantrez Knight who was kind of starting it. But the bottom line is a little unhappy with Fred, and they even did it to CMC. They did it to Mitchell, then they tackled CMC, and CMC didn't start a fight. But he got up, and CMC had some words with, I believe it was Dre Greenlaw, who put a hard hit and put him down to the ground when you're not supposed to tackle them fully. You're supposed to kind of hold them, stop them, and just hold them up gently so that no one gets injured.
You know what? I'd be perfectly fine if Shanahan said, from here on out, Elijah Mitchell is going to sit his ass out the whole training camp and preseason and just wait till the regular season. We all know he's good. I mean, he's not CMC, but we all know he's really, really good. Why waste his, why waste it and risk injury?
Yeah. Donald Johnson, I agree 100%. Donald Johnson says, I heard Lance look good, still needs to work on short passing. Yes. Lance has had some of the best throws.
Those trolls in the chat might get mad when we talk about Lance. So.
He's had some of the best throws of camp. He's been very consistent, but he even missed a short throw today in the dirt to TDP. So it's still an issue, but we were all sitting there, all the content creators, and we're like, oh boy, you know what Lombardi's going to say, and Mike Silver, that you can't sustain drives when you do that. Well, that was during Move the Ball, and Lance did sustain the drive. And he drove on down with all these third-string weapons and third-string O-line and drove down. And then it was second down near the goal line, and they killed the drill. And it's just like, oh, yeah, they really do not want Lance to score a TD here because usually you move the ball until you're until you either get a touchdown or a stop. And they didn't do that. Part of it is they ran out of time, but part of it is they made Lance wait like half an hour before his freaking rep. So he came in cold. He still did really well. So yeah, Lance has been doing really well. He's my number one QB right now. Darnold number 2. Purdy's been climbing, but he kind of took some steps back today. While he had a great session and moved the ball, these 2 underthrown balls that was contorting catch by Kittle and a PBU drop pick, but he also had a pick 6 that maybe was called back because it was a sack, which, either way, not really the greatest thing. I mean, sometimes the sacks happen where, you're put your back foot in the ground and the guy's there. That's not the QB's fault. But if you have some time and you take a sack, because it took some time, and then you take the sack, and then why throw it away at that point? Like you got sacked, but they don't stop the play, and so he threw it, and it was a pick 6 to Gibson, I believe. So great at how you want. I mean, I'm calling it kind of both ways: a sack and a pick 6.
Because Rob Stats
to be fair, because these things are very subjective. People, you see like Grant say pick 6, you see Jack Hammer said interception, and also Lombardi had to say interception because he's counting so many of these completions after sacks that he had to count the interception. But neither Lombardi or Hammer called it a pick 6, which it was. So, it's just interesting to see how everybody
who threw the pick 6
differently.
Purdy. Oh, Purdy. Okay.
Yeah. And then while we're talking about Mike Silver, and all the other haters, I saw him on the sidelines. So I was like, hey, there's Mike Silver. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go say hi. Like, what? You're really going to go say hi to him? And I'm like, yeah. I walked down. You? I'm like, what? He blocked me. Yeah. So I walked down. I'm like, hey, Mike. I go, Mike, I'm a big fan. And he came over and shook my hand. I'm like, yeah, I'm Ted H6. And he's like, and I go, yeah, you blocked me on Twitter. And he's like, well, you were liking tweets that insinuated that I was, wasn't a good journalist. So I'm like, okay, well, if you give me a second chance, I promise I'll be on better behavior. She's like, all right, I'll do it right now. What's your handle? I'm like,
Biggie,
1086.
give me
He
one
literally
more
unblocked me
chance.
right there on the spot.
Oh,
and
wow.
I came back up, and everybody's just like, oh, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, hey, these are all just people, Like, we put these people on pedestals. And I'm like, I've dealt with people much more powerful than Mike Silver or any of the people that cover the Niners. Let's be honest. Like, I grew up around powerful people. And so I know they're just people. You just talk to them. You don't kowtow. You just be like, hey, like I said, please unblock me. And he did. And so I got to give him some credit there. I've been calling him tarnished silver. I'm going to have to stop doing that at least for a while. So.
Oh my gosh. I want to get to this thing about, okay, so Rob Guerrero,
Yeah.
that is, was on Spaces. I was on there with him, and they brought up the whole thing, like it kind of seems like anytime Trey Lance, because I've been hearing, okay, Lance looks a lot better on his short passing game, and then some people are like, no, look, he missed this easy one to Debo, and then they'll act like it's the world's biggest catastrophe when he went 4 for 6. Like, so if you're going 4 for 6, those are pretty good numbers. Sure, he may have missed a gimme, but what I want to say is this: so I'm assuming he's doing better overall in terms of short passing game. You said, and some other people are saying it, but is it true that the ones that Lance is completing is he pushing the ball down the field more in general? Because that's what Rob Guerrero said. He said, who cares if he misses a little dump off here or there or whatever, when the passes he is completing, or the passes he's completing are way more out. And
he's crushing the deep outs.
This is another thing I don't get. Go ahead.
There's the one the other day where he hits this laser 15-yard deep out right, and I'm just like, Purdy does not have that club in his bag. I turned to everybody we were with there. I'm like, Purdy does not have that club in his bag. I'll tell you who else doesn't. Brandon Allen doesn't. Darnold might be able to make that pass, but Lance is the one who's been mastering it. And he did it again today. He had the deep left shot for 25 yards to Jennings, and he had a nice one over the middle, 20 yards to Ronnie Bell today as well. So, yeah, Lance is making tougher throws. Real quick, I just wanted to highlight, somebody was saying that Bash is something nice about you, Bash. Bash is the cream of the crop.
He just said that because of my Macho Man intro, where Macho Man says,
but you are the cream. The cream always rises to the top, and that's what Bash is doing. So,
I don't know. Apparently, I suck, according to the people that were trolling your chat, and I suck and I'm trash. So I gotta work a little harder to be. To be better,
it's just because you're with me. They don't believe that. It's just because they hate me.
I know you're seen as the devil on Twitter. I know
you're just catching strays from the nameless, faceless Lance haters.
Fire.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a good thing. It's like hate from those guys is a compliment to me. I'm just like, oh, that's great. Just keep it on. Like, I'll be worried if they start complimenting me. That's when I'll just be like, oh man, something has gone wrong. Something is amok, as they say. David McNiner in the house, McNuevo. He also has a new show, so everybody make sure to check him out on his channel. Let's see here. Slick Charles was explaining Custer Buster, so that's what he meant. He was saying that Kyle is a buster. I guess that's sort of a hip hop reference, right?
Not hip hop, but just kind of like a hip hop slang that he's a buster, he's like a sucker, or whatever. Oh, Somi, Lance is gonna prove you wrong, man. You're calling a bust. He had another really, really good day at camp. He's having the better days at camp. So I wouldn't call him a bust, Somi. He's worked really, really hard to be much better than whatever he was. And Kyle Shanahan ran him like a fucking Jerome Bettis when he had no need to do that. And he's playing him like a quarterback all throughout camp. So he's up on the bus top.
David Johnson, I miss Coach Tim.
Coach Tim passed away. Rest in peace, Coach Tim. He's just a guy that we knew on Facebook and stuff like that. He hopped in the chat.
Okay. I was like, no wonder I didn't know. Okay.
Kelt's is in chat. Kelt's Chronicles. So,
okay.
Yeah, Kelt's. He said, Ted is a real one. And he said something else about. He said, I'm about to go off. I'm not cooking yet. Some people said Joey Arredondo. Every time I get pissed off, Joey Arredondo types in the chat, "Let Bash cook." But I'm not. I'm going to simmer it.
Oh man, we might get a Bash rant, folks. Hold on to your horses.
So means I'm poking the bears, so I might have to cook pretty soon. So
say random because he can't QB. He really didn't give him a chance. They said they were gonna develop Lance even if it cost us wins, and they just didn't do it. They just said, well, we need to for him to run to win it. So it's just a big lie, all the things that we're hearing regarding that. Richard saying, what's up, Yee? Lance needs to play more. Definitely would have been further along.
Well, remember Shanahan's stupid excuse, though?
Somi Mara. I don't even know Somi.
I know him. Remember
Okay.
Lance? Not Lance. Remember Shanahan's stupid excuse, though? He's like, oh, well, have you been watching the league? Josh Allen runs all the time. What's his name? Jalen Hurts runs all the time. He just went through this whole list about Lamar Jackson, all these guys who run all the time. But my thing is, it's like, if you give up so many picks to get a player, you have to be really, really smart with that investment. Yeah, sure. Other teams run up the gut and run up the ass all the fucking time with their fucking quarterbacks. Look, it's not going to last long. Pretty soon, Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen and these great players, I hate to say it, but pretty soon they're going to fucking crumble too, because it's only a matter of time. It's only physics. I mean, it's bound to happen. So it happened to us early on a fluke fucking play. I was at the fucking game and it pissed me the fuck off. And I'm going to defend this fucker because he works really fucking hard. He works really, really fucking hard, and he has talent. He has, on paper, he's intelligent, and in person, when he talks to fucking coaches and whatever, they said they were enamored by his intelligence. He's a good guy. You guys want to slash him and bash him and talk shit about him? Go ahead, be my guest. Be the evil little devils that you fucking are. He's gonna bounce back and say, "Fuck you, I'm really fucking good." If he doesn't do it on the Niners because he doesn't get a fucking opportunity, then he'll do it on another team and he'll rape us when we fucking play him. He'll make Kyle Shanahan look like a piece of shit. Then we won't win a fucking Super Bowl because Shanahan just did the biggest fucking blunder in 49ers history. So if that's what you want, you're gonna fucking get it. So fuck you guys.
Boom. Beep 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 beep. Bash rant. I love it. So good. You can't. Those are the best for sure. And I'm totally with you, Bash, 100%. I might use a few less curse words, but then it wouldn't be as fun. So I love it. Let's see here. Silly Fungi had an obligatory dad joke. What did the left eye say to the right eye? Between us, something smells. Oh, wah, wah, wah. Kenny says, if Bosa's brother's in the top 5, I'd rather Bosa train with his brother. It's obvious the family wants to be the best. Yeah, I mean, there's some talk out there. I think Larry Krueger said that he thinks the Bosa deal is already in place, and they're just waiting to bring him in because they don't want him to get hurt in camp. There's a lot of people trying to prove things in camp, and it might not. Bosa's obviously really good at keeping himself in shape. And so he definitely needs to put on the pads and do some hitting, but I don't think he needs to do weeks and weeks and months of it. A few weeks is probably all he needs to get into shape. Laura Cat says, damn, Bash, but that was from before the rant. Probably need to catch up. Let me just make sure. McNiner said, I know Taco Charlton, Taco Tuesday on purpose. Absolutely. That was too good. I definitely had to tweet that one out. 12-5 Eagles and 11-6 tied with Dallas. Yeah, I mean, I think Cowboys might be better than the Eagles just because they had so much less turnover. So did we. Also, we got Hargrave from them. I think that could be Charles Haley 2.0. I probably already mentioned that to you, Bash, right?
I'm sorry. Did you repeat that?
That Hargrave could be Charles Haley 2.0. When we lost Haley.
Put Somi. They're pampering Purdy right now. Put Somi's chat up. They're coddling him. He's not outplaying Lance in fucking practice right now. They're fucking coddling Purdy because he won games. So by default, he won these 8 games. We have to crown him as a starter. That's what they're doing right now. So Lance has no control over that. Do you fucking understand that? He has no fucking. All Lance can do is be the best player he can when his number is called, when he's performing in practice, preseason games, whether he steps in a real fucking game. That's all he can do. Lance doesn't have supernatural powers to say, fuck you, Kyle Shanahan. I'm the starter no matter what, even though I'm better. No, he has to sit behind this Purdy propaganda bullshit that they're fucking selling us. So if Purdy makes it, fine. If he fucking wins us the Super Bowl, that's fine. But if he fucking crashes and burns, Lance is going to be ready to fucking take over.
There you go.
I hope that makes fucking sense, dude.
It does, absolutely. And it's just like the same people who are saying like, oh, it should have been a competition last year. They shouldn't have handed the job to Lance. Like, oh, it's totally fine if you hand it to Purdy, though. Let me
answer that.
If Purdy hadn't been injured, but he has been injured and he hasn't been the same. And not only that, there hasn't even been tackling because there's another level of where he may not be the same when we're tackling too. So let's keep that in mind. Also, somebody said something about like he can't make 5-yard throws. He can. He does make 5-yard throws, just not as consistently as the other two.
Okay,
So, and
you've
that will
been
come
there.
with more practice.
How much worse
CMC.
out of the fucking 4 quarterbacks you've seen? How much worse is his little short passing game compared to everybody else since you've been at the practices? You've been there. I haven't been there.
Oh, it's worse. It's definitely worse. Lance is the worst short passer of the 4 so far. Not by a long shot.
Okay,
but
but he's the best at other things, right?
But also, like I tweeted out, it's like I was today years old when I learned that throwing a ball in the dirt, on a screen incomplete is worse than a pick 6, because that's the way people are trying to make it. Like it's worse than a freaking pick 6, and like it's a drive killer. Well, today it didn't kill the drive. And in most days, if you come back and you can throw it 10, 15 yards, and look who's here. It's Beto saying Lance being traded. Only in your dreams,
okay,
Beto.
So if Lance gets traded, correct me if I'm wrong, and I studied up on this. I read an article that Rohan put, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's $11 million in dead cap money. I mean, if you guys are team first, because I've heard people say, oh, I root for the 49ers emblem on the front of the jersey. I don't root for the back of the jersey. Well, you're the fucker that wants to fuck off 3 first-round draft picks. So you're fucking off the team right there. And then you want to fuck off our salary cap and trade Lance and have $11 million in dead money. So who's team first? Answer that question. And this is for Steve-O, because Steve-O was talking shit to me in the chat the other day. He fucking said, oh, well, you wouldn't want a competition between Jimmy G and Lance. Look, if the coaches said that, I'd be like, okay, fucking go for it. But at the end of the day, they weren't going to do a competition. Why? The whole time, Jimmy G was being shopped to be traded, and his agent and them had a whole plan for that. So there was never ever going to be a competition. Remember, there would have been a competition. There was no way they were going to do a competition. But I would have welcomed it. Fine, welcome it. Big deal. Jimmy never fucking scared me, anyways.
Boom! You got it. So, Beto says I'm trading him just to piss people off. LOL. Yeah, you're a good troll, Beto. Good, you are a good troll, no doubt about it. Got Niners all day in the house. Welcome. Giving us a little chuckle. Let's see, where are we? There's some good stuff back here. Yeah, he's fighting for second string. That's a bust in your third year. Yeah, it's just not a fair competition, though. That's the problem. So, we'll see how it works out. But Kyle
remember what Larry Krueger said a few weeks ago?
Is treading on some dangerous ground here.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yeah.
So Larry Krueger a few weeks ago said, after seeing the improvements that Lance has made in person, just to clear up the bus thing, he said Lance looks a whole lot better. He looks improved. His everything's improved. And the 49ers, right? He believes the 49ers, this is his words, not mine. I haven't even seen the two guys in real life practicing yet. I haven't gone to any practices. But he said that he believes we have 2 franchise quarterbacks, or 2 starting quarterbacks, however you want to word it, however you want to phrase it. He didn't say we have a starting quarterback in Purdy or a future franchise quarterback in Purdy, and we got another guy who's a bust. He said we got 2 quarterbacks who are capable of being starters. So if you want to say Lance is still a bust, go ahead. I mean, if you're just saying
Larry
just
said,
yeah, you're right to your freedom of speech, but if I'm going to throw context at you, come back at me with some real shit. Because Larry was supposedly a Lance hater, and he's saying that Lance looks like a starter now. So what's your point?
Larry was saying he thought we had 2 franchise QBs, not just starters.
Yeah, okay, so franchise QBs. All right.
Yeah, even better.
Well, Greg Cohn said we have none, so I don't know who to believe because I haven't seen it, but...
Well, that's the difference is Larry's saying in the future we have 2 franchise QBs, and Grant Cohn saying right now we don't. And I will back Grant Cohn on this one and say right now we do not have any franchise QBs. We have 3 B QBs so far through camp. I would say Lance B+, Darnold B, and Purdy B- so far. They're all close, and they're all doing well. It's not like they're all close because they're all bad. They're doing well. And Purdy, like I said, I expect him to do better as he knocks off more rust and gets back to being closer to being 100% physically, and then hopefully mentally. But so far, the mentals have looked a little shaky. Nicholas Arcladis says Purdy has accomplishments Lance didn't when he got the job and still doesn't. Well, Nicholas, when Lance got the job, he didn't have CMC and he barely had Kittle. And when the team was losing, we started 2021 3-5. We started 2022 3-4. When the team was winning, Lance beat the Texans in a must-have game to keep us in the playoff race. CMC and Kittle are both massive difference makers, easily top 3 at their positions in the NFL. I mean, I would say top 1, but you could get no argument saying easily top 3 in their positions in the NFL. It's not just how good CMC and Lance are. It's what a step down it is to Dwelly, to Croft, to Warner. These guys are not good, those tight ends. And like Elijah Mitchell, he's a real nice back. He's a better runner than CMC. But he was injured the whole freaking season. He had 1 start and only played in 5 games in 2022. So then you got Jeff Wilson Jr., who we traded for a 5th-round pick. That tells you how good he is. Not that good. And then you got J.P. Mason, who we all like and we think can do great things. But he was a rookie last year, and Kyle doesn't trust rookies. He just didn't give him the run. He never gave him a chance to show what he could do. And TDP was in the sophomore slump last year. After a rookie slump. So, TDP is looking real good in camp, but I want to see it in the game. So huge step downs from CMC and Kittle to the guys, the next man up that Lance was playing.
Lance has barely been throwing to Ayuk too, from what I understand. He's barely throwing into him because Ayuk hasn't been on the field with him.
And we went 12-0
per the coach's decisions. And Ayuk is the guy who pals around with Trey Lance when they go out and hang out. They were just at the Oakland Panthers Arena Football League game, and they're like buddies and friends, but Shanahan won't even put them on the field together, which is dumb. And let me say this really quick. Nicholas Akalatis is a really good guy. I know we disagree on the Lance thing. He's from the Locker Room Rant. Him and John V run that channel. He's a Browns fan, actually.
Oh, nice.
John V's a 49er fan, the Vornus, the Vornado, whatever, and Tony, the Bills fan. Great guys. Locker Room Rant, check them out. I've been on there multiple times, just shouting them out. And Nick, you're my Greek homie. I'm not Greek, but I lived in Greece for a short little tiny time. But we bump heads with this Lance shit. I know, right? We're never gonna agree on that. But you're a good dude.
So Rich is saying that Somi is fighting to become a Seahawk fan. Love that. Beto is saying real talk. Stealing Rich's. Rich, don't you have that trademark? The real talk. Anyway, he says real talk. The way we go through quarterbacks, we need as many as we can get. Matter of fact, we should get 2 more added to the roster. So real talk, though, does that mean we shouldn't have our best QB start week 1 because the one who's not best might get hurt to get the best one in? Like we had to have 2 QBs get hurt last year for Purdy to come in, and he was arguably our best QB in 2022. Does that seem right to you? I think that's another gaffe by Kyle Shanahan. One of his long list of QB gaffes, passing on Mahomes for Cousins, passing on Brady to keep Jimmy after we lost the Super Bowl, not getting Stafford, QB3, Purdy QB3 last year to start the season, running Lance into the ground. And somebody said Lance isn't a good runner. He's not good at like design QB power up the middle, but he's a damn good scrambler. And he scrambled for a TD in camp, and he had a 6-yard scramble today.
All we need Lance to do is run when you have to, when the protection breaks down and all that. That's all we need him to do. And he's really, really good at that. He's exceptional at doing that. Nobody ever said he's going to be a Jalen Hurts runner. I don't know why some Niner fans were thinking that, like, oh, we drafted Trey Lance and he has the exact running ability of Lamar Jackson. I never once watched his college film and thought that. I thought, if anything, he reminded me of Dante Culpepper. That's what I was thinking, which was fine. I mean, I don't care if he's this amazing, dynamic Michael Vick runner. I never expected that out of him, not once. And people all these Lance haters are bitching and moaning, he's not a dynamic runner. He said, I don't give a flying fuck. I want him as a quarterback. That's what I want him as. I hope that makes some fucking sense. I never once fucking expected him to be Lamar Jackson. I don't know why people think that he's a bust because he wasn't Lamar Jackson. He never was supposed to be that guy. I never understood this fucking lunacy among our fucking fan base. Half of our fan base turned this shit over the past 5 years. I don't even know what happened to them, dude.
No doubt. And he said, I think we should get 2 more added to the roster. Now, that makes no sense, but we already have 4, which is too many. I think we might carry 3, but the bottom line is you don't have that many practice reps. And if they don't have practice, they're not going to be any good when you bring them in anyway. So there is a limit to how many QBs you can carry and expect them to be effective coming into a game. I think 3 is plenty to carry for a season.
Hey, people, you never know who's going to go down. It happened last year, so in the year before's and whatever. People.
Here's what it comes down to. Here's an opposing fan base, Silly Fungi Rams fans, saying there are many Rams fans who would be very happy if Lance gets traded. That's when you know it's a mistake, folks. When your opponents are rooting for it, you know it's a mistake. So, yeah, thank you, Silly Fungi. Cinema Kiss, yes, he did say that. LOL, Little Richard, calm yourself. Uh, Bryant Culp, all these Jimmy sexuals still hating Lance. Yeah, that's a lot of it. Is Jimmy
I don't
fans
get. Yeah,
that
okay,
are
all right.
butthurt that we were mean to Jimmy, and now they're just going to be mean to Lance. No matter what happens, they're just going to say it
Well,
was
Jimmy's
bad.
on the Raiders now. Jimmy's on the Raiders
Yeah,
now. So.
yeah, but that's not stopping them. They're still got their pennies in a twist over it. Truth be told, way to go through quarter. Oh wait, bring back Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins, he has not really proved that he's recovered from his UCL repair plus brace surgery. So, real talk, Trey Lance House looked better than last year. I'm truly excited to see how far. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Beto. I am too, and I hope it's a great competition between him and Purdy, and whoever wins pushes the other one to be their best. Iron sharpens iron. I want as many good QBs on this roster as possible, and I think we got 3, or at least 2.5. Purdy, Lance, and Darnold's been looking good in camp, but I need to see it in the game before I really believe.
And here's a fun fact about Darnold, and I hear he's been looking pretty good in camp. But I talked to some people that were Jets fans online, and I know one Jets fan in real life, and it sounds like he's been pretty good in camp for quite some time in his career. So just saying, and even in his USC career, he threw a lot of interceptions. I'm just saying, I'd love to have if we keep 3 quarterbacks, if it's Lance, Purdy, and Darnold, I'd love to have Darnold's a third option. But I mean, I'm a little iffy about him if he's going to sit there and start like 5 games straight or start like, as many games straight as Purdy did last year, so to speak. But 1 or 2 games, if we really, really had to play Darnold, I mean, I'm not going to be too worried. Yeah, it's all good though.
There you go. Somi says that Larry said the QB we faced on the Raiders was immobile. Stidham, he was pretty good against us. That's for sure. He definitely seemed like he was. I wouldn't say mobile, but he was not a statue either. So he got out. He got some good runs. This is my calm Somi. Who the heck would name their child Somi to each their own? Oh man, going after the names here, brutal. Larry also supports pig in a pickle. There you go. I've never eaten there, but actually, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything more. What up, Bash from Nicholas? Beto plugging the best barbecue in Northern California. My favorite barbecue in Northern California is, there's a few, but I really like one in Sonoma called Cochon Volant. It's pretty good. I
haven't been to too many amazing barbecue places. I'm not the biggest barbecue expert, and I haven't ventured enough into doing American barbecues in the backyard or anything like that. I don't have a smoker, but one of these days, maybe if I get lucky, I can buy a nice little smoker and try to do that.
There you go. Beto says, to be honest, I'm sick and tired of all the quarterback at SH. You know what? Wins the position. Whoever wins the position will support. Whoever the backup is will have. We've forgotten the word faithful. Yeah, I mean, I support whoever is our QB on Sundays, but then the other 6 days of the week, it depends on how they did. That was what I said about Jimmy. And most of the time, those days, I was cursing him because he did poorly and held us back. Don Johnson, Bash, I think Kyle making tougher on Lance on purpose. It could be. It could be a test.
What Kyle's doing.
It could be a test. I've seen that happen where it happens sometimes where QBs don't get reps with the first team and they still win the QB1 job. But at some point, I think it would be smart to put Lance with the first team weapons against the first team D. Maybe he's waiting for Bosa to come back. I don't know. We'll see. When will Lance have reps with CMC? Your guess is as good as mine, but there have been 0 through 8 practices. 7 it's for sure the 7 I've been to, and I'm pretty sure the one that the reporters only were at, and that was what was reported. So, hate to bust your bubble. Half the first rounders are bust.
We all know that. We know that. You're not busting any bubble. I've been watching football.
Yeah, I mean that's fair to say. It's just he really hasn't had much of an opportunity. He was redshirted as a rookie and only played because Jimmy Glass couldn't stay healthy. And then he played in a monsoon with no CMC, no Kittle, and then Mitchell got hurt early in the game. The defense was awful, gave away huge penalties on every scoring drive, a busted coverage against Pettis. The O-line was poor, with all our interior offensive line making their first ever starts in the NFL. And Debo had a fumble that he lost inside the red zone. Those 3 to 7 points that we lost, Gibson dropped a pick. So Lance wasn't great, but he was better than Fields. He's had a higher passer rating than every QB he's faced.
Hey, I'm sorry. I finally looked up Fields' passing. There's all these people on Twitter that are like, some of them are crying, we should have drafted Fields. Lance sucks. We should have drafted Fields. Fields is way better than Lance. Fields is way better than Lance. I was hearing all this bullshit, so I'm like, okay, I guess it's true. And I literally pulled up his stat line from last year. His stat line was not fucking good. I mean, it wasn't even remotely good. It was way worse than I thought it was. I'm like, this is the guy you're saying is way better than Lance. Had Lance played the whole season, he would have put up twice the numbers that fucking Fields put up. Like, yeah, Fields is faster. If you want to tie dynamic runner, Fields ran almost a fucking 4.3. I think he ran a 4.3. I don't know. He ran a crazy 40. He's fast and everything.
4.4, yeah.
But to say that he's fucking way better than Lance is fucking asinine, dude.
Nah, it is. Especially if you look at the next week against the Seahawks when Lance got injured, his offense had racked up 143 yards in less than a quarter. So he was on pace for like 600-ish yards in that game. Yeah. Anyway, Somi says that's not accurate. Everything we say is accurate, Somi. So thanks.
No, he's saying Lance isn't accurate. Somi has this belief that if somebody wasn't accurate, like say for example in their freshman year of college,
that it never changes.
They're never going to be accurate for the rest of their life.
Somi, he changed the mechanics.
Academies. They have all these quarterback academies and all these quarterback schools, dude.
Somi, have you been at camp? Because I have, and Lance has been very accurate. In fact, he's been one of the most accurate, other than a few short misses like we've talked about. He's been the most accurate deep outs and deep center. He looks really good. So, you're speaking out of ignorance because you don't know unless you've been at camp, and I'm sure you haven't. Young could not run, but he was a great running quarterback.
Steve Young wasn't accurate remember how accurate was Steve Young when he first came around on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You remember that?
Yeah. Laura Cat says F-bombs. That was a Bash rant, folks. One and only. Actually, we've had 2, so maybe we'll get a third.
No, we've had about five of them. I had about 5 rants today.
Let's get it going.
5 rants today. I wasn't expecting to. I was in a really good mood before the show started, but
if
you're gonna say something, I have fucking ammo and comebacks for all this shit, and you can go look it up. It's all in black and white. It's all been documented.
Bash says the best QB is Purdy, then Lance Darnold.
That's Beto, not Bash.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Hey, look who's in the chat. We got to say his name. We were talking about this pregame.
Who's that?
The guitar player. Come on, man.
Oh, Tommy
Huxley. Tommy Huxley. It's Tommy Huxley. What up, Tommy?
Welcome, Tommy.
If you follow him on Instagram or his YouTube, you can check out his guitar riffs, and very, very talented. I always wish I could have played guitar. I play keyboards, but very, very talented musician. And I don't know what his music resume is, but he's probably played with some pretty talented musicians as well. So
yeah, so Beto just got the order wrong. He said Purdy, then Lance Darnold. It's actually Lance Darnold, then Purdy so far in camp. But it's been close, so it's not like anyone's way ahead or way behind. Rich says, could you imagine what a flying looks like? Bash with the fire. I'll just say it, flying fuck. There's been enough.
I already said it like 50 times today.
I know, I guess I can say one. Lance is better
thank
runner
you, Tommy.
Thank
you, Tommy. Appreciate you, man.
Give him credit for. He is a better runner, especially scrambling. Also, keep in mind that some of those failed runs by Lance, Kyle does things that he knows will fail just to set the defense up so that he can do the same formation. People will think that's what's coming and will bust a big play.
Do a play action off of whatever.
Yeah. So some of the failed Lance runs weren't because Lance failed, is because Kyle knew he was going to fail and he's just set it up that way. So keep that in mind. Kittle talked about that in an interview here this offseason. If we trade Lance, we'll regret it. Absolutely.
We'll look like one of the dumbest teams in NFL history. That means that we're a fucking charity for the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel and shit. Mike McDaniel, you want some first round draft picks? Here you go, buddy. Here's a third rounder with Thorne and something. I think we threw in the third rounder as well. Yeah. Here we go. Go fucking take our first rounders and do whatever the fuck you want with them. Guess what? We could have won a Super Bowl had we held on to them, even with Jimmy G, maybe, because we would have strengthened other areas of the fucking team. But these people who claim that they're Niner fans first before any player want us to fuck off all our draft picks. They want us to fuck off all our salary cap and trade Lance and be fucking dug deep. We'll be dug deep in a fucking hole. $11 million in cap space. You want that shit? $11 million in dead cap fucking space, dude.
I'm with you. Beto says,
use your brains, dumbasses. Purdy is not fucking healthy right now. He can go down in week 4, week 5, week 6, and then we'll really be fucked.
That's right.
Dumbasses.
Beto says the more F-bombs. Bash says the more Purdy will start week 1. Laura Cat's getting a chuckle, so am I. 1946 to 2012, 66 years. We had 42 multiple QBs in 66 seasons. Only had 24 years of one QB. Good fact. Thank you, Bryant. I like that. Well, the Niners were no good basically till 81. So until we won the first Super Bowl with Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott and that crew. 49ers in the best position since 94 to win a Super Bowl. I think so. I think we're in a great position. Like I said, I think that I think Hargrave is going to be Charles Haley 2.0. We took a great pass rusher from our biggest opponent from the last NFC Championship game. And they've had a lot of turnover on that Eagles team. They supposedly had a great draft, but, draft picks bust about 50% of the time. And of the 50% that make it, most don't make it in their rookie season. So if you're expecting a big impact from all those rookies, you're probably going to be sorely disappointed, Eagles fans.
I want to ask you a question. Did you pop up Tommy's comment?
I did earlier, but
you had another one.
Let's see. This with Purdy.
No, he was congratulating me, so it's all good.
Oh,
if you missed it, it's all good.
No, he said Ted, great point. He said Bash, congrats on 1,000.
There you go. Thank you, Tommy.
Big
you wasn't there for the show, but I appreciate it, man.
That's when you start getting ad revenue, assuming that you have the 4,000 watch hours.
I don't. Well, they up the watch hours. So it used to be
what?
So right now, I forgot what I am right now, but the way they used to do the watch hours, the old criteria, I would automatically been monetized. But now they changed it. YouTube's changing things. They totally up the ante. So it may take a while, but I hope you get there one day. I hope all the people that I collab with will get there if they're not there yet. And I truly mean that. I've helped. I always look forward to helping people who are not who started way after I did and they're early in the game and I appreciate all the people who helped me out, who had bigger channels when I was a small channel, when I had a smaller channel, that is. So we're all here to help each other. I appreciate all those guys, and there's plenty. And I didn't really go out of my way.
What's the threshold now? I thought it was 4,000 watch hours.
It's some ridiculous crap. They changed it. It used to be easier, but
because now there's a sub threshold that I'm coming up on of 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours, and then you can have subscriptions to your channel and super chats. So that's what I'm looking at, and I've got the watch hours. I've crushed 3,000 watch hours. I think I have a lot of hate. I think I have a lot of hate watchers that they'll watch. You know what?
I've always wanted to chop up segments of my videos, and I don't do that. I wish I had a secretary or somebody that could do that. It's just very time consuming. I put out shorts sometimes, but I don't chop up anything from my videos. Like Grant Cohn does a really good job of that. He chops up little segments of his video, which is really cool because you see you don't have to sit and watch the 90 minutes of a show or 1 hour of a show or whatever. So better since YouTube made it easier now. I thought they upped the watch hours. When I checked it, it's the original criteria. I thought it was way less watch hours. And
originally it was 1,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours to monetize. But that was full monetization. And then since then they lowered the subscribe and super chat monetization to a lower level.
I have to double check.
But you don't get ad revenue. You don't get ad revenue at that 500, 3,000. But I don't know what it is at 1,000. What the watch hours are. I haven't kept track of that because I'm so far away subs wise. It doesn't matter to me right now.
Cinnamon said I have to have. What up, Cinnamon? That I have to hire somebody. Yeah, I don't. I can't.
Tornado asked. They won't know until you tell them. I love it.
I want to ask you about Ji'Ayir Brown and just if anything in the secondary. with John Wilkes' assistants. If there's any players that pop out to you in the secondary, and a lot of people are excited to hear about Ji'Ayir Brown, and they think that he was like kind of almost like a late first round or second round type talent that we got in the third round.
Yeah, he looks great. I mean, he looks big. He looks strong. He's explosive. He looks good in drills. I haven't seen him make too many PBUs or like interceptions or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I think he's going to contribute at least in 3 safety packages, maybe some nickel. I've seen him play some nickel behind Quantrez Knight after Isaiah Oliver. So stock up on Ji'Ayir Brown. I think he looks solid from what we can tell so far.
How about in the corners? Any corner that has impressed you?
Well, I definitely noticed it when Mooney Ward was out with the groin pull. The offense had one of their best days. It was just one day.
Okay, I'll tell you about a player that I'm.
Lenore's looked good. Jameson, the one from Texas, has looked good.
That's what I was saying about Jameson, because when John Chapman asked,
Womack's made some plays. Oliver's made some plays. In general, though, the offenses look pretty good. I mean, but keep in mind, no Bosa. So,
yeah, and I wasn't trying to be like cocky or whatever about the whole put up Tommy's comment. I just thought it was really nice of Tommy to say that, and it just but nice to get highlighted on the screen or anything like that. But I was gonna say about Deshaun Jameson, because John Chapman had tweeted something right before training camp started, and he said, "Which rookies are you going to keep your eye on training camp, or who you really looking, who do you really want to succeed, or something like that?" And what's it called? And I typed Deshaun Jameson, and John Chapman responded, "What the hell is wrong with you? LOL." I'm like, "What? I liked what I saw on film, and I mainly he's got excellent ball skills, and what I mainly liked more so than anything else was that if he could find a way to make this team some way somehow, I think he'll easily be our best return guy by a mile, and that's including Ray McLeod. If you watch Deshaun Jameson's highlight reels in terms of as a return man at University of Texas, he's just so explosive. Larry Krueger really likes him too. And the funny thing was, I was reading that Deshaun Jameson was teaching Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward today about how to have more patience with his back pedal or something. And I was like, oh, damn, look, the rookie who I kind of got clowned on for supporting is teaching Charvarius Ward, who Charvarius Ward himself said that he's looking to make all pro status this year. So I'm okay, maybe we have something in Jameson. I want to keep my eye on Deshaun Jameson and see what he does.
Yeah, no, Jameson's been good. And Steve Wilkes has been really, really hands-on. I think some people have talked about that, about how like Lance, had a play go wrong and he kind of looked at Kyle. And Kyle is just like on to calling the next play, where Steve Wilkes, every free second, he's out there coaching somebody, including Mooney Ward, who's one of our more senior, DBs. So it's really good to see Steve Wilkes being so hands-on. And I will give Kyle a little bit of a, I don't know, excuse for that. In camp, these plays, it's not a 45-second play clock. Like they're going like 15 seconds. Like I barely have time to write down what happened on the play before I'm like looking up to see what's happening on the next play. And so Kyle doesn't really have time to like coach them in between. He'll probably look at the film and coach them, offline outside of practice would be my assumption. So let's not assume that because we didn't see it on the field that it's not happening. So anyway, that's just my little thing. But Steve Wilkes looks like he's doing a great job from everything I can tell.
Okay, one more quarterback question. Would you want to read to Tommy's comment?
Sure. I'm just kind of trying to catch up above, but I'll pop back
go ahead.
down.
Go ahead. I got a question for you when you're ready.
Huh? This one?
No, I got a question for you about the quarterbacks. Since you were at all the practices so far, I don't think you missed a day just yet. And oh my god!
Oh wow! All right, we'll hide that one. Sorry.
Oh my god!
And Jake Moody. Oh, dude, Bryant Culp is gonna come for you, Tommy.
Oh wow!
Kickers are people too, man. Like,
Jake Moody's.
Although Moody did leave one short today in practice. I thought it looked like 55 yards or 60, but Mayoko said 63, so maybe I just didn't do the math right on it. But I was surprised to see Moody leave one short. He did bang one one of them, I'm like, oh, this one's going over the fence. And not only did it go over the fence from the practice squad, it went over the fence across the street into the power plant. So I wrote down in my notes, I was like, power plant, because it was pretty, or maybe it's not a power plant, but it was like maybe a, what do you call it, electrical transfer system center where like all the lines come in and there's, maybe they're not generating power there, but it's like a transfer station, I think is what you call it. But anyway, Moody's been pretty good. He's missed a couple. That was his second miss of camp, but he's got some people are calling him Legatron, and he's lived up to that so far.
Yeah, I got two questions.
Yeah.
Okay, because you mentioned it's my last quarterback question, and then we're going to talk about the linebackers really quick. And then again, do not be biased. Just you've been at I'm asking you because I haven't been there. I haven't seen shit. It doesn't count when I see 1 or 2 videos or 2 or 4 videos tops per day from Twitter or whatever. There's a whole lot more that goes into camp than just 4 videos per day.
Absolutely.
Honest opinion, honest assessment on deep ball throwers. Out of all the quarterbacks, rank them from 1 to 4. That from what you've seen personally at camp.
Yeah, Lance 1, Darnold 2, Allen 3, Purdy 4.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm not gonna comment or slander anybody or whatever.
On short throws,
yeah,
I'm probably going Darnold 1, Purdy 2, Allen 3, Lance 4. So,
and my linebacker question is, since Aziz Shire is no longer with the team, I've been hearing Oren Burks, I've been hearing McCreary Ball, Jalen Graham, D Winters. Who do you like at that position?
I was saying earlier in the offseason, and based off of mini camp and OTAs, that I thought Oren Burks would get the starting position for camp. He has, but I haven't seen him do much since then. I have seen MMB, Marcelino McCrary Ball, has done a lot. D Winters picked off Trey Lance yesterday. That was maybe Lance's first interception.
Yeah, it was his only interception of camp. But I'll say this: D Winters was the pick that I was the most excited for. I was on Niners Sickness podcast with him and Jess during the draft. They let me jump on when the Niners made all the picks. I wasn't there for the whole draft when we weren't picking, but the D Winters pick was the pick that I was the most excited about. So I know it was off of Lance. I don't really care about that because it was his only interception so far early in training camp. He only threw 1 pick so far. But the fact that D Winters got it and made a play on the ball or whatever, I'm happy because I like D Winters as a prospect and I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. I don't know how far he is in his progress, but it's just definitely something to look out for. And Randy Daytona is in the chat. I see him. There he is.
There you go, Randy. Serious question, no hate, just curious. Do you want to trade, throw any interceptions? The opponents that he faced, the teams he faced, did they produce any quality players? I don't even know what he's talking about. Do you know, Bash?
I'm trying to get a grasp of this question. He's hitting us with the hard questions. So let me just let it sink in. No hate, just curious. Do you want to trade and throw any interceptions? I don't get that.
What was yours, Bash? Let's just put that away for now. Maybe he'll re-ask it.
Yeah, okay.
What were you asking right before that?
I don't even remember.
Somi was questioning my qualifications, I think he's talking about me. He says, does this guy know what he's watching? What's his background? Has he ever coached?
He's always doing that to everybody. He acts like he's Bill Walsh when it comes to this shit. Come on, Somi, you're just like us.
Somi, I've been watching football
like us.
Probably before you were born. I've been a Niner fan since '76. Since Jim Plunkett was the quarterback. I watched all the Super Bowls live, went to all the parades. I played high school football, little quarterback, and some linebacker in high school, tight end before that when I was a little bit smaller, younger. So, no, I've never coached at any level, but I watch a lot of film. I watch every game at least once as it's being played, and then usually at least one more time afterwards, taking still shots, and then a lot of film from a lot of different people who critique film to make sure that I try to avoid bias. If any one of them's biased, I'm watching a bunch of them to try to eliminate that, essentially. So if you don't like it, though, feel free to tune out. We don't need you. I'll just say that. So if you don't like what you see, beat it. We got plenty of people that follow us. And I won't speak for Bash, but
I know Somi. I know him, but he just does this thing where he questions people sometimes. So let him
yeah,
question whoever.
yeah.
I mean, come on, Somi, dude.
I mean, people think because I'm a Lance fan that I won't be, that I'll be can't be objective or I'll be biased. But I had Darnold winning Sunday. I had Lance winning Monday. Purdy winning Tuesday. I had Darnold winning yesterday. Darnold winning yesterday, and Lance winning today. I'm definitely not picking Lance every day, but I'm picking him overall because even in the days he didn't win, he was usually second. Okay. And on the day that Darnold Darnold had a bad day where he was easily the worst, and none of the other guys have had that where they had a stinker.
Okay. I get what Randy Daytona's question is now. I totally get it. If you want to pop it up, his revised version of the question, he's referring to the year that Lance had where he didn't throw interceptions, and he's asking, look, I don't follow the Division 1 AA teams all that well to know who the quality players he was up against. I will say this though, so far in camp, correct me if I'm wrong, you've been at camp, I'm just going off of stuff that Rohan Chakravarthi was putting out. Just multiple beat writers were all putting this out. It wasn't conflicting among beat writers either. These stat lines I was reading were consistent across the board from Jack Hammer, Larry Kruger, whoever. You want to say this guy's a Purdy lover and this guy's a Lance hater. Everybody was saying the same thing in this regard. Lance has turned the ball over less than all the other quarterbacks all throughout camp, albeit fumbled snaps, albeit interceptions, or whatever you want to call it. He has been taking care of the ball so far in camp. Hopefully, if he were to step in a game and play in a game, hopefully he takes care of the ball as well. So,
yeah, in general, he doesn't put the ball in harm's way. He had the one to D. Winters the other day, but yeah, he's also pushing the ball a lot more, which is where you would think you would maybe see more interceptions as well. Rich says this season is already and will continue to be hella fun. Faithful, there is a way to make the noise and have fun with it. Flip the script on these fools and laugh in their faces. Yee! Love it. I think you know what I mean. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we know what you mean. That he had that. He was like 48 TDs and like one interception or one fumble in college, one turnover. I know it was. Tommy Huxley. The reason I want to see Gray and TDP, I like to see them in actual game, even if it's practice. Yeah. The TDP has been looking great. He's rocked up. He's gained about 20 pounds. We thought he was thinner or lighter, but it was actually just he's more muscular and got rid of some of the baby fat, maybe. Preseason.
Do you notice TDP as being much more improved than what you saw in preseasons or the little we saw him in games? And does it look?
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
And what improvement do you see? What improvement do you see?
He looks decisive. He's running hard. He and Mason have both looked really good. Really, really good. So, yeah.
Does Mason look more explosive? Because I know they said he leaned out and he dropped some weight, and he's supposedly way faster or more explosive looking. Do you see that for yourself?
They both do. Both
of them do. Both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's going to be a real battle between them for sure. I'm not sure what Don Vornis meant there. Preseason, okay, pre-C. Got it. Okay. Tell him, Ted, my head swelled up now, and then I bust out my hats, and they become. So I guess he said that I got a big head. I think he means from being cocky, but I definitely have a tall head, and that's why I don't wear hats. I've got a couple behind me I could model for you to show you why. It's like I could duck down here, and they would still be covering the whole frame, and so it just looks really funny.
You got to get the right size. People have told me I have a big head, and I get this proper size that fits me. And I think if you went to Lids or whatever store at the mall, or whatever hat specialty store, you can find the proper hat that suits you right. We got Brooks in the chat. We got official BNA Music 888.
All right, let me scroll down. There we go. Teddy Shanahan. Brooks took the picture I took today of all the creators I was with for our training camp, and he pasted on the Shanahan coaching tree onto our faces. Last time he made me Sean McVay, and this time he made me Kyle. I was like, yeah, I'm Kyle this time. So good stuff. He said, Ted, I'm totally busting your nutsack. Pause. No worries, Mornado. I know it's all good. Hauling that gargantuan cranium about that. Yeah, it's I had to kind of grow into it when I was a freshman in high school. I was 6'1" and 155 pounds, and I just looked like a head on stilts. Now that I'm like 6'0", I dropped about an inch. I
Shout
shrunk
out.
a little.
She
I'm
said born.
3'10". My head kind of fits my body a little better now.
You said Vornado. I want to say shout out to Vornus. I
More
love saying
news.
his last name.
Yeah, in college they called me Big Head Ted. So yeah,
That's funny.
yeah,
You
because
should have a
there's that band,
bobblehead.
Big Head
You don't
Todd and
seem
all
like you have this gigantic head that can't fit hats. I don't know. I think you're buying the wrong size, bro.
I'm telling you, man. I've
You gotta
tried them
get
all.
fitted.
Fitted. I've tried it all.
No,
I'm not a hat guy. Even the one I wore today, the straw hat, looks a little funny on me.
straw hat Ted at the
Gonna
training
get
camp.
better at my mod duty. Oh, people are gonna get knocked out. My bad, Bash. I'm working and listening. Maybe they feel bad for Trey. I let my dad beat me in basketball all the time. No, they don't feel bad for Trey. This is professional, and everybody's got their job on the lines, and nobody's giving up anything. Purdy showing he's a backup. Hufanga dropped a floater from Purdy. That is true. That is definitely true. John, I understand that. Somi is Flav's cousin. Oh, you're kidding me. That explains it. He definitely seems like they're related. Randy says aloha. Donald Johnson, Trey Lance. There you go. So that's a lot of it from today. I mean, it was a good day at camp. It might be my last day at camp. I've been trying to get tickets for tomorrow, Saturday the 5th, and Monday the 7th, but it's tough sledding, and I'm not going to go pay $150 for a ticket. In fact, I looked today, I couldn't even find GA tickets for tomorrow. I saw standing room only, which I think is basically sitting room only in front of the bleachers, so you're not going to see much from there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but hopefully someone will take pity on me, offer me up. Bash is looking for tickets too. So
I think I might be good actually on that one. Something just I just got a message. I don't want to talk about it right now, but
okay.
Yeah, I hope you make it on Monday. I really, really hope you make it on Monday. That's all I gotta say. I really.
Oh, nice. I hope you do too, Bash. It'd be great. It would be great, no doubt. Okay, interesting. All right. Well, thanks for. I just was checking your private chats there, but seems like we've kind of lost a little steam here. Maybe time to. So we've been going for a while. Shoot, got an hour and a half. This is much longer.
This has been fun. All right, so somebody just did me an amazing favor. God bless that person. Yes. They know who they are. I somehow miraculously am going to training camp on August 7th, Monday. I believe it's a Dwight Clark day of training camp. So thank you very much
for 87. Yeah,
I really, 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 really appreciate it.
Outstanding. Well, that is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I got 4 of my tickets from a code from my buddy who has season tickets, and I thought I'd be able to get all 9 days with that code. Not the case. Only got 4, and a couple content creators took pity on me, and one gave me Sunday and Monday, and the other one gave me today. And so thanks to Nate for today and John Chapman for Sunday and Monday. They really hooked me up, and I hope someone else will take pity on me for Monday so I can meet Bash in person. That'd be awesome. Maybe I'll just.
I don't think Levi's is ready for us. So there's going to be too many.
Is it GA or is it VIP?
I don't know yet. I have to check, but
all right.
Maybe people will throw tomatoes at us and freaking 49er Cast and Flav and their goons will attack us and throw tomatoes at us because they think it's sacrilegious for us to support the guy who was on the team before Purdy and who the team invested the farm for, and they think it's a crime against humanity to do so when nobody was. All these geniuses were not talking about Purdy in training camp last year, but now all of a sudden he's the god of all quarterbacks, even though he's can't throw a deep ball at all in practice, has the slowest release out of all the quarterbacks, and he's not connecting on any deep balls, but they're putting all their stock in him. But okay, whatever.
It's still early. There's still plenty of time for things to shake out. So I'm just holding out hope that Kyle comes to his senses, or Purdy lives up to the position that they've
There's still time. There's still time for him to come back to normal. I'll say that. There's still time.
No doubt about it. So, for now, though, it seems like they're just like, la, 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 not going to listen, not going to pay attention to what's happening, because it's very clear that Purdy has not been the best QB yet. In fact, I'd say not even second best QB yet.
That's my whole thing. It's like if he's not, then that means that they may have rushed him, or he might be perfectly fine, and he's just not going to be the same guy, and it was all a fluke. It's going to be something. It's going to be something. It's going to be one of those. You'll see. Don't be surprised if he ends up being a fluke. It's happened. And I mentioned Nick Foles so many times.
Jimmy G.
Early in the offseason, when the offseason first started, let's be careful here. We all saw what happened with Nick Foles and other quarterbacks when they had success early on, and they weren't supposed. And these quarterbacks weren't really supposed to have success, but they hit a hot streak. And Purdy was blessed. Amazing weapons, amazing defense, all of that. It just happens sometimes. You can call me a hater, call me an asshole, but I've seen this happen so many times in the history of the NFL. And sure, there have been quarterbacks who aren't flukes, and they do really, really well for the rest of their careers. But all I'm saying is, let's see what happens. Let's let it play out, and let's not anoint and crown the guy so damn early, please.
No doubt about it. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Bash. Too bad Niner Nate got stuck in traffic, but maybe he'll pop on.
I was going to ask you about that about half an hour ago. Where's Nate at?
I haven't really honestly checked.
He hasn't texted you? He hasn't texted you? I was waiting for him to hop on.
I don't think I have
that
his
sucks. I felt really bad because I wanted to collab with Nate so bad. It's been so long since I've had him on here, or I've been on with him. Nate's awesome.
He's a good guy, and we'll get him on here one of these days, or however it works out. But he said he wasn't gonna, I know he had something at 3:45 anyway, so if he didn't get home till 3:30 or whatever, then he was going to be heading out the door to that anyway. So these things happen, but I'm glad that we were already planning to do the show together and just add him in, and worked out well. Brooke says Purdy feels the most Tebow-esque because he can throw ugly picks in practice. We'll get the gamer tag. What if Trey has one? No. Purdy is not like Tebow. Tebow had an ugly ball. And Purdy throws nice balls, especially short over the middle and in the flats. It's just his deep balls have been lacking in camp. And, I'm never going to say he's a great deep ball thrower. He hasn't been. I don't expect him to be, but I think he'll get better than what we've seen, given some time between now and week one. I feel confident in that. So we'll see what happens. And also, starting week one could be kind of a booby prize. You got T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith coming off the edge against McKivitz every single play. And McKivitz has looked good in camp, but let me tell you, we don't have a T.J. Watt. I mean, we do. We have Bosa, who's maybe.
We have Bosa, but he's not out there yet.
He's not out there. And Alex Highsmith just got the 10th richest edge contract in the NFL. So he had 14.5 sacks last season. Our best guy besides Bosa last year had 5. So keep that in mind, folks. Like, you got some monsters coming up against McKivitz week one. So whoever wins the job, like I said, it could be kind of a booby prize. It could be a Pyrrhic victory, as they say.
We better run the ball like crazy in that Steelers game. We got to be heavy on the run game. I'm worried about McKivitz.
And we may not win.
McKivitz is terrible, but TJ Watt's a beast, dude.
We may need more than one QB, honestly, to be honest. That's a fraught with danger, if you will. Rich says, "Give Somi the link." he wants to see.
You got to go though. You got to.
No, I got to run. I got a call at. It's technically it's at 4. I can be as late as 4:10, but I definitely got to run. Stafford making 30. Jim Everett the Great. That's because the Rams' defense is trash. All they have is Aaron Donald.
I hate to say it, but who was it?
Our guys are going up against the number 1 D in the league. Plus we had Hargrave. Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, Ted Talks Ball. Also, Bash's channel, 49er Minded. And we'll just say peace and go Niners.